UFC's second pay-per-view in Australia this year is in the books. With the first pay-per-view in Australia headlined by one of the best pay-per-views this year, with a pound-for-pound war between Islam Makhachev and Alex Volkanovski, UFC 293 was headlined by one of the greatest middleweights of all time, Israel Adesanya, and a short notice Sean Strickland, who has taken this fight over Dricus du Plessis. Along with a card full of fun matchups, could this card live up to the hype and give us a banger like they did back in February? Let's find out. This is the Fight Franchise and the recap and review of UFC 293. The early prelims began with a fun fight between Kevin Jose and Kiefer Crosby. Both men would trade on the feet, throwing huge shots, clipping each other. Jose would pressure and get a takedown, and cinch up a rear naked choke to get the win in a fun fight to start the card. The next fight would take place between Gabriel Miranda versus Shane Young, in a frantic fight which saw Gabriel Miranda go for a takedown and scrambling to Young's back, and choked him out unconscious in a brilliant win, which was over in just under 60 seconds. The next fight would be between Charles Radke versus Blood Diamond. The two fought in a back and forth fight where Radke was able to use his skills and pressure to dominate Blood Diamond, where Blood Diamond would even get a point deducted for excessive low blows. Charles Radke won the unanimous decision and would have a short and questionable post-fight interview. The next fight would take place between Nasrat Haqparast and Landon Quinones in a super fun and competitive fight where Nasrat showed the levels and outworked Landon, and was more technical to earn the unanimous decision victory in a really fun fight. Another fight from the ultra competitive lightweight division between Jamie Mullarkey and John Makdessi. This was a super fun fight which was back and forth, with both men tagging each other, with the fight building and getting more violent as it went on. It seemed Makdessi did the better and more damaging work, which is why it was a bit of a shock when Jamie Mullarkey got the decision win. This was a very harsh decision on John Makdessi, as most including myself thought he won. This is definitely one we need to see run back. Jack Jenkins and Chepe Mariscal were up next in a super fun fight where Jack Jenkins had a brilliant first round, tagging Chepe on the feet. The second round, Mariscal would use his pressure and close the distance, so Jenkins could get no offense off. This was brilliant by Mariscal, who closed the distance, clinched and went to throw Jenkins, but as Jenkins landed, he posted and seemed to dislocate his elbow, and the ref stopped the fight. This was unfortunate as the fight was just becoming competitive. Hopefully Jenkins recovers soon, and hopefully Mariscal has some fun fights going forward. Next would be a light heavyweight bout between Carlos Ulberg and Da Woon Jung. The fight would be tentative in the first round, but Ulberg eventually found his mark and dropped Jung to steal the round. The next round saw more successful Ulberg, landing jabs and strikes to tee off on Jung and win another round. Jung in the third round would smartly pressure Ulberg and started having success and would go for a takedown, but both men got back up, but Ulberg would secure his own takedown and would cinch up a choke, and the bell rang for the end of the fight. The replay did show Jung tapped, which won Ulberg the submission win, who is on a brilliant streak now. The main card began with Tyson Pedro, who would take on Anton Turkalj, which would be a bout which became super personal for Tyson Pedro. Pedro landed some brutal leg kicks, and before you know it, he would drop Turkalj and finish him with strikes to earn the win and do a crazy celebration after the fight. This was a brilliant win and way to start the main card. A heavyweight bout between Austin Lane and Justin Tafa, where Austin Lane had the huge height and reach advantage. That didn't matter for Justin Tafa, who was patient and would wait his time, and landed a huge shot and followed up with ground and pound to get the brilliant win. This was huge for Justin Tafa, who got the performance bonus he missed out earlier in the year at UFC 284, and also revenge for the eye poke which ruined this fight earlier in June. The next fight was supposed to be Kai Kara France and Manel Kape, but Kai would pull out due to an injury, so he would be replaced by Felipe dos Santos. Manel would insult Kai Kara France at the pre-fight press conference and would be public enemy number one in the arena. Manel Kape and Felipe dos Santos put on a fight of the night in a back and forth war which was wild and fought at a frantic pace, with both guys showing amazing speed. Kape would land the more damaging shot and would get the win, and hopefully we see him and Kai Kara France fight sooner rather than later. As for Felipe dos Santos, he took the fight on short notice, but looks like a great talent. I can't wait to see what's next for him and what big fights he gets going forward. The heavyweights were up next with fan favourite Tai Tuivasa taking on Alexander Volkov. Both guys traded on the feet where they threw huge shots, where Tuivasa struggled with the reach and height of Volkov, where Volkov won the first round. The second round, Volkov did more brilliant work, where he pieced up Tuivasa, where he caught a kick to take down Tuivasa, where he would secure an Ezekiel choke to secure the win. This was a brilliant win for Volkov, who hopefully can work up the heavyweight ranks. As for Tuivasa, hopefully he can come back and go on a brilliant win streak again and work his way up the division and secure some amazing KOs, like the 5-fight KO win streak he went on. The main event saw the arguable greatest middleweight of all time take on Sean Strickland, who was taking the fight on just over 1 month's notice. As this pay-per-view, the UFC originally wanted Izzy to take on Dricus du Plessis. Many MMA fans, if not all, gave Strickland pretty much no chance to win, as he was a good fighter, just not championship caliber, and with Izzy's skill set, it would be just a matter of time before Izzy would KO Strickland. The fight started and Strickland would be on the front foot, pushing the pace and backing up Izzy, with Izzy struggling to counter-strike with Strickland's awkward style and brilliant defense. Towards the end of the first round, Strickland threw a brilliant 1-2 to rock Adesanya and had him in real trouble, landing brilliant follow-up shots to end the round on top. To be honest, if Strickland had power in his hands, the fight would probably be over then. A brilliant round 1 by Strickland. The second round, Adesanya would be more active than the first, landing more with Strickland pressuring but throwing less to make it 1-1 going into the third round. The third round was very close, but Strickland threw the more damaging shots, with Izzy constantly backing up and failing to find the target. The fourth round was more of the same, but this time a clear round for Strickland, with him doing the better work, but because it was Izzy's territory, it could have been 2-2 going into the final round. The final round, Strickland backed up Izzy, who could just never find the target due to Strickland's defense, and he pushed the pace into the fifth round, backing up Izzy, screaming, "Come on Chinaman," till the end of the fight. The entire MMA world and the arena was in disbelief. We all knew Sean won, but until the belt was wrapped around his waist, we wouldn't believe it, as the judges have made some terrible decisions over the years, and 49-46 on all 3 cards, Strickland is the new middleweight champion. Honestly, I'm still in shock. This is one of the most unbelievable upsets in MMA history. One of the most unorthodox, strange and weird fight styles middleweight has ever seen has become champion, and Strickland didn't just beat Izzy, he schooled him over 5 rounds. There was no question, and what makes it even crazier, it was in the striking department, which is Izzy's domain. Honestly, we are getting close to the end of the year, and I was thinking about it. Who is the male MMA fighter of the year in the UFC? And it might just be Sean Strickland after this win. From losing a decision to Jared Cannonier in a competitive fight on December 18 of last year in the last UFC event of 2022, to turning round in less than 1 month to open the first UFC event of this year, to dominate and beat Nasruddin Imavov, who was on a 3-fight win streak. He KO'd and stopped Abbas Magomedov and turned around on relative short notice and schooled one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world to become middleweight champion. I'm not saying he is fighter of the year, as we still have some time to go, but he is definitely in the argument and now one of the front runners in my opinion. This brought the end to a weird fever dream of a card. The early prelims were quite fun, and so were the prelims, with the fun lightweight fights, but the injury to Jack Jenkins was unfortunate. The main card had some brilliant stoppages, with 2 KOs and the submission from Volkov. The Manel Cap and Santos fight was super fun, and the main event gave us one of the best moments of the year. Overall, if we're going to grade this card, it gets a C+. A good score for a good card. Had the card not end in the Strickland win, it may have scored lower, but to end it on this amazing win and high, gets the card a good score. Overall, a real fun card with some fun fights and stoppages, but this night will always be remembered for the night Sean Strickland shocked the MMA world and caused one of the biggest upsets in UFC's history. And who knows, next month at UFC 294, we may just see Sean Strickland's next title challenger emerge. Did you enjoy the video? Let us know down in the comments below. What did you think of UFC 293 and what would you grade it as a pay-per-view? Put that down in the comments below. Leave a like if you've enjoyed the video and subscribe for more MMA and fight content coming soon. We hope you enjoyed the video and we'll catch you in the next one.